Okay.
Come in close so we can see. All right. So as we get ready to shoot, right, our first thing is going to be getting our model in the correct position, right? And what's our first direction of light that we're going to look at? I heard somebody say it.
Butterfly?
Butterfly, right? So we're going to look for butterfly. And what are we looking for in butterfly light?
Nose?
Little shadow directly under the nose. All right. So if we look at Natalie, or let's come closer. Come on, come in close. All right. So, but we don't want to cast shadow, right? So right now, if we look, she's got just a tiny shadow, and the sun's pretty low in the sky, right? So we want the shadow to be just directly below the nose. So Natalie, chin down just a tiny bit. Okay, now we have a little more shadow, right? Put your chin down a little further, just so we don't want it to like cast too far down. So go ahead and chin up just a little bit. Okay. And what we want is for it to be directly centered underneath the nose, right? So right now it's a little bit off to that left-hand side. So take your chin this way just a little bit. Up too far, come back this way. Okay, perfect. Chin down just a little bit. Okay, so can we see the shadow? It's directly underneath the nose. It's now symmetrical. Yeah, can everybody see that? So that's our butterfly, right? Once we get it set, our model needs to stay still, right? Because if Natalie looks a little bit this way, right, she's gonna like change and all of a sudden she's gonna be in loop light. So they've gotta kind of work with you because you gotta keep shooting. So now we've got her in butterfly. We're gonna set the camera to +2. We're gonna say, okay, here we go. Go 1, 2, 3, click. We're gonna take the picture. Hold down the plus minus, click 2 stops, or two clicks. That'll put us to 1.3, and then work your way all the way down to -0.7. Okay, so there's our butterfly, right? So then what's the next direction?
Oh, from the right side.
So from the right side, what are we gonna call that? Loop, right? So the next one's loop, right? And loop's gonna have a tiny shadow that's just off to the side. Now, as soon as we move out of butterfly, because at butterfly, she's looking straight at the camera, we want to set it up so that we've got them looking in one direction or the other. It doesn't matter which one it is. We just have to pick and we have to stay with that direction because the light's going to be either short side lighting or broadside lighting depending on which way we go, right? So we're gonna shift this way just a tiny bit. That's probably already good. And look towards this shoulder a little bit, Natalie. It's okay. You can close your eyes for right now. So once she starts to look at my left shoulder, right? She's looking a little bit this way. I can see this ear and not that ear, right? Which means this is the bigger side of her face. So currently she is in broadside lighting. Okay, can everybody see that? So from here on out, I want to always be able to see her right ear and not her left ear, or at least, more of her right ear than her left, so that it stays consistent. Now it doesn't have to be extreme. So turn your head that way. Like it doesn't need to be like all the way, looking that direction. It can be subtle, but we need a little bit more. So come back this way just a little bit. Okay. And let's go chin up just a little bit. Okay, and then maybe this way, up too far. Come back, okay, there we go. And maybe chin down just a tiny bit. Okay, so with loop lighting, we're looking for it's just a tiny, tiny shadow that's just next to the nose. We're starting to get a little bit of shadow along the bridge of her nose and also on that left-hand side cheek. Okay, so once we have her in loop lighting, yeah, you can close your eyes. Then when we're ready to shoot though, so that she's not like squinty, right, because she's staring right at the sun, let them rest their eyes in between, and when we're ready to shoot, just go, okay, 3, 2, 1, they open, and then wait, go ahead and open, and click, and then, take the picture. So you'll start at 2, work your way down, 1.3, 0.7, 0, and -0.7. So after loop lighting is what? Starts with R. Rembrandt, right? So Rembrandt, we're gonna see what? Triangle of light, right? So what we want is for that shadow from her nose to connect to the shadow on her cheek, right? So we're gonna shift our body this way and model, and it's right there. There we go, perfect. So, a little bit this way, okay, there we go. So can we see the shadow from the nose now connecting to the shadow on the cheek? That's the upside down triangle, right? So we're looking on that side. And again, she's looking a little bit towards this shoulder. I can see that ear, not that ear. She's still in broadside lighting, right? That's the bigger side of her face. We're in Rembrandt. Set the camera to +2, work your way down to -7. Okay, so there's Rembrandt. All right, and then we're gonna shift again. So we're gonna come this way. Perfect, right there. So now she's in split lighting, right? So now she's right down the middle, half and half. And again, as it's averaging, right, there's different backgrounds, so that's why we also need to bracket, because now she's got part of her face is in shadow, but the building behind her is also in shadow. So when it's averaging it out, it might be okay at 0, right? So we have to, but there's also a lot of sky. It depends on our framing. So now she's split down the middle. Again, I'm seeing this ear, not that ear, so she's still in broadside lighting. Start at +2, work your way down. The next one is rim, right? So we're gonna shift around. So come with me. You guys over on this side too, so you can see. Come on around. All right. Now with rim, it's gonna be a little bit harder to get a good, clean rim light on there, right?
Yep.
So if your model has a lot of hair, you might say, oh, can you kind of pull your hair back just a little bit? doesn't have to be all the way back. But see now, like it's not blocking quite as much, so now we're able to get a little bit more of that highlight over on the side. And again, with rim light, we're just trying to get a little bit of light on the edge of that face, and then most of her face is in shadow. And this is why we need to overexpose, right? So we're gonna bracket, we'll start at +2, work our way down. And probably some of the more overexposed ones are gonna start working out better because more of her face is in shadow. Okay. So there's our rim. For backlighting, we're just gonna switch one more time. And again, once we get here, a couple of things are gonna have to happen, right? We now have the nice kind of glow and halo around her hair, right? But the sun's coming right at us and the sun's really low. So you may want to, I know some of us have done this before where we've flagged the camera, you know, like put a little shade up there so that it cuts out that glare, just by flagging it so that the front of the lens isn't getting hit by the light. But don't try to get like this. Now all of a sudden, you know, we're shooting right into her nose and it's gonna throw off our exposure. So still just stay at the normal height. You know, if it's easier for you to, you know, come a little bit this way so you're not, you know, she's still backlit, but I'm still shooting at this angle a little bit, that will reduce the amount of light hitting the front of the lens. So you can adjust that a little bit. She's still in backlighting. And I'm still kind of looking at that ear there, right? So then we're gonna go one more time. We're gonna shift this way. Now we're starting to move into rim light, right? Again, but I'm still looking at this here. So as she's in rim lighting now, she's now in short side lighting, right? We're lighting it from the smaller side of her face, right? So once we're set up in rim there, we'll start at +2, work our way down. There goes Jaime. All right, well, after rim is split, right? So we're gonna go this way. So there we go, right down the middle. Later in the day too though, the sun is gonna be a little bit higher. You may have to have them tilt their head. Right now it's really low, so we don't have to do that. With our split lighting, again, I'm just gonna make sure, can you look this way just a tiny bit? Oh, there we go. So now I can see this ear and not that ear. That keeps us in the short side lighting. Again, that's the smaller side of her face. That's where the light is. Okay. So start again at 2, work your way down. And then we're gonna shift to Rembrandt. There we go, perfect.
Oh my gosh, this is
I know, you can keep your eyes closed, it's okay. So again, this way, Natalie, just a little bit. There we go, perfect. Let me see, back this way, just there we go, right there. So now she's in Rembrandt. We see the upside down triangle. And again, if I'm seeing this ear and not that ear, we're in short side lighting, right? So keep that consistent because we did all broadside lighting the other side around. We've only got one more to go, loop lighting, so we're just gonna shift one more time. Boom, shadows just off to the side, chin up just a tiny bit, maybe down a little bit, there we go. And then get it all set, take that last set of 5 pictures, okay? And again, if we're seeing that ear, she's now still in short side lighting, okay? Because the shadows are coming forward onto the bigger side of the face, which again is gonna narrow the face and probably be more flattering. All right, ready to do it? Okay, go.